Hello. I hope you've been enjoying the previous series. I have come to know that some of you, by your actions, that some of you are still contemplating whether to buy this video, the series or not, the Experience Shiva program. So I just wanted to tell you about one story, which is something that one of my favorite stories, which revolve around Shiva. And that is about Shiva and his wife Sati, his first wife Sati. And it seems it's just a very beautiful, very romantic story between the two of them. What we find is that Sati falls in love with Shiva and she wants to marry him. And her father is completely against this marriage because Shiva is a marginalized god. He has very strange clothing, he has strange habits, he has strange friends. So the father doesn't want the daughter to marry him. But she goes ahead because she loves him so much, she's so focused on it. She goes ahead and she marries against her father's wishes. They have a beautiful life together. There's a lot of, we hear details of their lovemaking. We hear about how companionable they both are. But what happens is that at some point she starts missing her father. She starts missing her household, her mother and her sisters. And she gets to know that there's a big grand reception taking place in her father's house. And she wants to go for it. Now again, because she's their husband and wife, she wants to take his permission, or she wants, him to come along. And he says, no, I'm not going to come, and neither should you go. So he forbids her to go. You'll be insulted. Why are you going? Your father threw you out of the house. You went against him when you got married. Don't do it. But you see so much of, just as much as we saw Sati loving Shiva so much when she went against all wishes to marry him, we find that Shiva ultimately lets her go because she's adamant, and he knows that he should not refuse her. After all, she is her own person. But he lets her go, and she goes off in a huff. And then you find that in the story that he sends all his attendants who have all different things for her comfort in this arduous, this long journey that she's going to take to her father's house. You find that Shiva is so devoted to her. There's so much of love between the two of them that he sends his attendants, his very valued attendants. He sends them all, his servants, so to say, to look after her. And she goes to her father's house. Now, once she goes to her father's house, there's merriment, there's ceremony, etc. All this is going on. But what we find is that she's come uninvited, and she is publicly censored, she's publicly outraged, publicly insulted by her father. And in this public censure, public outrage, what happens is that the father keeps insulting her husband, and he keeps calling her such a fool for marrying such a man. Basically, it's the insults to her husband that she cannot take. Such is her love for her husband that she stands there and says that I cannot bear to hear this any longer, that you should say these things about my husband, these vile things about my husband, that she self-immolates. She just becomes a heap of ash, so to say. She dies. And when she dies, Shiva comes, and again he's so upset about it. He cries, and it looks like he's become a completely broken man. But what we find in the stories is there's a beautiful, it's a beautiful story of recovery. He goes on into his own. He recovers from it. He recoups from it. He becomes a stronger human being. And once he's stronger, he then comes back into the world to help the world and remarries. He marries Parvati, who is a reincarnation of the first wife, Sati itself. So how he takes care of a disastrous situation and how he becomes whole after that. This is the story of Sati and Shiva. I hope you liked this story of Sati and Shiva. And just like this, there are hundreds of more stories in the Shiva Experience Shiva program. So if you want to, please go ahead and sign up for it, access it, buy it, and experience Shiva and become a whole human being and become empowered by it. Thank you very much.